Hey beautiful souls, welcome in. Love, light and blessings to each and every one of you. This is just your general reading, so take what resonates and leave the rest. And we're starting with these cards. These are new. Past lives, uncovering past lives. Okay, we have oppression and trauma, past life, and underground civilization, location. Underground civilization. And then what have we got? Or Asia. Tortured to death. That's a wise person, wisdom keeper. I'm getting witches. Yeah. You may feel emotionally tortured in your current life. This is because of oppression and trauma that's carried over. See, psychological or verbal abuse, trauma again. Yeah, so it's kind of like a form of torture, isn't it? So, and then wise person, enlightened, wounded healer. Yeah. Yeah, wounded healer. That's what we are. We're wounded healers. Let's have a look at this. I've got miscarried or died at birth. Okay. And then we have the Ten of Wands. Yeah, this is all carried over. You're carrying the weight, you're carrying the burdens of a past oppression, a past trauma. Maybe you went underground or you were part of the underground movement. Yeah, you were part of an underground movement. You were probably born with a lot of wisdom because you were born already knowing with these Ten of Wands here. You could have been born into something that was secret, so your birth could be a secret or was kept a secret, and your identity kept a secret in some way with the Ten of Wands here. Yeah, you were born into a very burdensome time. You chose this because you hadn't completed what you needed to complete, because that's what the Ten of Wands is. It's like people go, oh well, it's 10, it's complete. No, it needs to be complete because this person's still walking with a lot of burdens, with 9 wands on their back, and then we have 1 wand in the hand. There could be something wrong with the back here as well, back pain, scars on the back or stretch marks on the back, something that's carried over from another life. You could have also been burned as a witch. I often get the feeling that I was. I often get that feeling that I was burned as a witch. So 10 of Wands, yeah, something to be complete. And see, this is the thing too, with this we have like a church and a steeple in the background. So you could have had a situation where, you know, you were opposite the church, or perhaps for some people you've like ended up kind of like almost taking on like a monk or a nun kind of attitude in this life, where you just, because you just really don't trust anyone. And also it's kind of like about faith. It's almost like you've carried over this past life experience or a near-death experience where you just start to realize that you can release these burdens and give it up to the divine. You have a very strong connection to the divine, you know, because you've been through trauma in your last life and carrying and born into some kind of trauma into this life that's really weighed you down. Like it's like your earth suit feels really heavy, and it probably has your whole life. It's time to lay down these burdens and come to faith, and not necessarily in a religious way, but just in a very deeply spiritual way. Your path has been a one of struggle and tension, possibly, you know, a lot of neck tension here as well. And then we have, oh, the Eight of Wands. Yeah, you've needed to use all of these experience to trailblaze, to clear a path, karma as well. Yeah, and this person's pointing to the sky as all of these wands come down, but they're not a light. They're more like tree logs, like cutting down trees and things like that. Wood. Yeah, you could be like a wood dragon or something like that. You're born in your Chinese astrology. Yeah. It's kind of, yeah, clearing the karma when it comes to family and friends is what I'm getting here. You're carrying the weight of past lives that need to be let go. But also it's like you are karma to people who point at you or to people who come across your path. It's like they were meant to come across your path because, and you might think to yourself, why are all these people against me? It's almost like a massive crowd of people. It's almost, it would be like if you were Jesus Christ in your last life and you'd have millions of people opposing you. You know, wherever you go, everyone opposes you because the majority of people opposed Christ in his last incarnation, right? He was like a cult leader in the minds of the Romans and didn't really become popular till after death. So it's that kind of vibe. But also you're here to make way, to rain karma down onto others. But that's not by being mean to them, but by being the eyes of the divine. As they treat you badly for no reason, that puts them in, you know, that's a black mark against their name in the book of life kind of idea. Like, you don't have to fight this. The divine is making a path for you towards Eight of Wands, releasing these burdens. Oh, Nine of Swords, Dark Night of the Soul. It's like a reign of terror here. The reign of terror, French Revolution. Yeah, so I think it's the 1700s. Yeah, with the French revolutionary government. Yeah, and they use extreme violence, including mass executions, to suppress opposition and consolidate power. So I'm getting that you were part of some kind of revolution or a victim of, or some kind of mass oppression. So it's like you assisted a lot of others, you helped a lot of others, but you were caught and you were tortured, and yeah, that kind of thing as well. So you're carrying this over into this life. Ooh, what's over here? Five of Pentacles. Yeah, the Five of Pentacles. Again, a lack of charity. So it's kind of like something to do with the Inquisition or the church, or people who were religious, who tortured you, who hurt you, who left you out in the cold. With the Five of Pentacles. So like when we talk about karma and we think all these bad things are happening to us, it's not always the case. It's to show other people for who they truly are, because at the end of the day you did nothing wrong. Yeah. You may have struggled with anger though. You may struggle with anger. You may suffer from migraines and headaches, pain here with the Nine of Swords. It could all be revealed to you in your dreams as well. But also, it's like shame here as well. It's kind of like people are going to feel ashamed of how they've treated you. You're a person who has a warrior heart with the Sagittarius energy here, and then the Gemini energy. You know, people who are two-faced, people who stab you in the back. I'm not saying that's Gemini. I'm just saying that just can't follow Gemini. But yeah, that kind of thing. People who've betrayed you are all being seen for who they are, and they will receive karma for it. But you're also clearing the way for others to come behind you, is what I'm getting. You're very protective of women and children. Like, you would never dream of harming a child. You're very protective of children and single mothers in particular. You're very protective of the innocent, and you would never dream of harming anyone deliberately. Maybe with a bit of anger, we all get angry. And the Star, healing. Yeah, coming to healing. Yeah. And see, this again, this is interesting, because this is almost like that 1930s, 40s period, that flapper period. Like, let's say you're a bit of a rebel in this life. You think to yourself that you would work behind the scenes in order to help free people, or in order to, yeah, revolutionary. You're kind of a bit of a quiet revolutionary is what I'm getting. And yeah, you need to heal all this in this lifetime. It's been very difficult for you, very, very difficult. You've had a very difficult life battling your own demons. It's almost like you haven't really created any karma for yourself in this life, and you think you have. Like, you think you're to blame for everything that's ever happened to you that's negative. But that's not the case. You're here to show the dark hearts of others, because you've always had a good heart. Even in your past life you had a good heart, is what I'm getting. And you're here to show other people's shadow. It doesn't mean that you haven't like done things that, or said things to people that may have hurt them. Like, you fight back, you're a bit of a fighter, but not malicious, not deliberate, not Five of Swords is what I'm getting. Oh yeah, the Chariot. Yeah, you are a warrior. Yeah, the Six of Swords. This is all clearing, and now you're moving. Oh, look at that, the Nine of Pentacles and Eight of Pentacles energy. Yeah, coming out of Three of Swords and the Moon. You could have been born with a heart defect, something like that. But again, Three of Swords, it is also the family crest, so it can be to do with bloodlines and family lines. You may have found that all the women in your family have ended up being neglected and abused in some way, or being single mothers having to do it on their own. This could be in your family chart, and this is something that you're needing to clear. You're very strong. You might be worried about your heart, but your heart's actually very, very strong. So, and then the moon here, yeah, things to be revealed, secrecy. Yeah, secrecy. So that's all the things I already said at the beginning. But once you release blaming yourself, is what I'm getting. Once you release all this stress and worry, all of a sudden everything's going to change, and you're going to end up with this Nine of Pentacles energy, the Star card, and the Eight of Pentacles. So through your good work, through your art, through your whatever you're creating, you're going to end up becoming very successful. You could also end up having enough money where you could also help other people get started in some way, or you're going to buy a lot of art, or you have a lot of art on the wall. Yeah, also like trophies, medals and trophies, gold coins I've got here, like literally gold coins. And yeah, the Star card, so hopes and dreams. You never gave up on yourself, you never gave up on your dreams, although, you know, there is some kind of like suicidal ideation here, but you kind of always managed to pick yourself up and move on. So yeah, for young people, this could be sort of like a little bit later on in your life. You know, you might still have to struggle a little bit longer. That's what I'm getting. One of these. Oh, the Magician in reverse and the Two of Cups. Yeah, the Inquisition. That word kept coming up. Yeah, you were tortured, burnt as a witch by the Inquisition. Yeah, and you might have turned your back on spiritual things. You might have even been an atheist when you were younger. But you've come to some kind of spirituality away from the, you know, the structures. Yeah, the old structures. You have a very spiritual heart and a spiritual path that has nothing to do with religion. Yeah, Queen of Pentacles here. Yeah, there's some sadness here, and we have the Chariot with the Chariot and the Six of Swords and the Eight of Wands. So that could also be single motherhood, that kind of thing. Maybe you ended up bringing up your children all on their own. You could have, there's a big Doberman here, and there's a massive big, there's two really big dogs here in a small sports car. You might have had money in your childhood, but violence was certainly in your childhood. Loyalty is something that nobody seems to understand except you. Yeah, there's something like that. And then, oh yeah, see, we have the Eight of Swords. So you might have been isolated. You might have moved away from a lot of things. You may have lost a lot of money in this life because you have to put all your faith in the divine. That's what you have to come to. And then the Eight of Swords here, more Gemini energy. You're in a bit of a self-imposed prison, blaming yourself, locking yourself away, feeling ashamed. But this is what other people have made you feel, because that's what swords are. It's words. Negative self-talk, yes. But with the Eight of Wands here, with karma, it's like you've had a lot of karmic people in your life. People that you've had to complete something with. And you haven't had to pay, like, it's not like revenge and payback. It's like you are the eyes of the divine. People start treating you badly for no good reason, and you know this, but yet you still blame yourself. You move away. It makes you sad and upset and confused. But once you understand that you are the eyes of the divine, that you are a strong warrior, that life is happening for you, not to you, then you can release a lot of this stress. People are going to become very, very sorry that they've hurt you and harmed you, and that's all you need to do. Just do nothing and let the divine do the rest. Yeah, because you are strong, you are beautiful. The Strength card here. You've grown in strength. You've been through many towers. You could end up being of service to others who are going through an awakening, who've been harmed, who've been brutalized, hurt and harmed. Particularly women and children, I'm getting in this reading. It's to do with women, children and trauma in your life. And you're going to give assistance to help others. You could even write a book, an award-winning book or something like that, or award-winning music. You could end up writing about all of this. You may not want to revisit all of this, especially what's happened to you in this life, because it can re-traumatize you. But there's going to come a point where you have the strength to put this into something that's going to be very successful. Your story, or whatever it is you're creating, it's going to be very, very successful. Your art, helping and assisting others. Yeah. You know, you're very sensitive to people who are in the 8 and 9 of Swords, this horror story. Yeah, you're very sensitive, and you're going to end up helping a lot of people, and you're going to have a lot of success in your life. You're going to have everything you need to be able to walk this path. It's like your life is a challenge to you. How much can you go through? How much can you put up with? Going through war, going through abuse, going through challenges, walking through this world alone, and come out the other side realizing that the divine is whispering to these people, and you've been through a mental and emotional torture. You've been through enough, but this has all been a test of your strength, no matter how unfair it seems. Yeah, okay, that's pretty amazing. Restore and replenish. Yeah, it's time for you to restore and replenish. 38, 83, 11. You're moving towards peaceful times. You're still going to have like flashbacks and things, but you're going to be able to use this as a strength rather than as a weakness, and also helping others to restore and replenish. You could even end up setting up like a retreat or something like that. Release the dark wound and let love live. And this is what you're coming to. No matter how much wounding you've been through, how hard life has been, no matter how much emotional, mental, and even physical torture you've been through, you have carried the weight, and now this is all being released. It's almost like you're a witness to the prosecution. Yeah. Yes. I hope that makes sense. Oh, and learning to trust yourself, that you are all you need. Learning to trust yourself, learning to trust the divine, learning to trust again. Coming to peace with it all, because it's made you wiser, because that's what it says. Here, this is what you're becoming in this life. In this life, you're becoming the High Priestess. You know, you might think to yourself, how do I know what I know? Well, the wisdom keeper knows, because the divine keeps you well informed. Yeah, you're enlightened, you're well informed, but you are the wounded healer, which means that you have to be strong enough when it comes to helping others and being of service to others. You have to be strong enough for it not to trigger you and you know, put you back into PTSD and trauma. So there's going to be a profound recovery occurring very soon. If you're at the point where you're just sort of becoming more philosophical about it all, you have a strong connection to the divine, and you have a very deep wisdom and knowledge, maybe you had it since you were a child. If you were born in mysterious circumstances and your life has just been one abuse after another in varying degrees, but joy in between, the thing that you'll realize about yourself is that who creates the joy in your life? You or others? Who's the main person in your life who tries to make things happy and joyful? Is it you or is it others? If it's you, because that's who you are, you're a person who's loving, peaceful, kind, you just want to have fun. And you try to be perfect as well with the Queen of Pentacles. You may have had success early in your career, in your early life. We've got somebody with a sports car, they're a bit of a model. You may have been, you know, you may have had a lot of success when you're young, or if you are young, you're going to have a lot of success in the material world, but then it's all going to get lost, and then you'll have it again later in life. So some of you younger ones, yeah, there is some more chaos to come, and it's up to you how you move through this. Trust yourself, trust in the divine, trust you're going to come through it, trust your instincts, watch out for all the red flags, sidestep all the narcissists. Listen to my readings and you'll be able to do that. All right, love to you. Bye.